Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamasho Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Ma Amritangamaya Aviravir Maidhi Rudro Jatte Dakshinang Mukham Te Namang Pahi Nityam Te Namang Pahi Nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. And evermore shine in our hearts with thy resplendent face. Om peace, peace, peace. Welcome Swami Sarvapriyananda ji, and welcome all of you. And today the Enlightenment, conclusion of all these discussions. So we are waiting for Swami to tell us about enlightenment, the ultimate selfie. We are taking picture of outside only. Now you have to turn this way. The ultimate selfie is that one. So wonderful topic, and I won't take much time. So I'm very happy that Swami could come for a few days relaxation here. But whenever he comes, he says, I'm coming for relaxation, and we squeeze him. And we get all the 3 days talk, and Santa Barbara there is talk, now another. So this is the way we are here now. But we get the benefit, and we are happy with that. And I welcome Swamiji too. And he will be leaving tomorrow morning. Thank you all. Start.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste and good morning, everybody. My pranams to revered Swami Sarvapriyananda Ji Maharaj, pranams to the revered Matajis and monks who are present here. Namaskars to all who have assembled, other monastics also. Well, this is unexpected. There's a big game on today. And honestly, this is much bigger an audience than I expected. But it works as a selection device, Those who are not very interested, those who are willing to make the sacrifice of giving up the game for Vedanta, that shows something. That I remember once Sister Nivedita, she was walking with Swami Vivekananda and he was speaking so animatedly to her. And she was surprised and a little amused and said, "Swamiji, you are speaking to me as if I am an audience of 1,000. And he said, "To me, you are an audience of 1,000. So we here have an audience of thousands, people who are seriously interested in Vedanta. The subject is exactly what we heard in the beautiful music just now, which was about the Mahavakyas. Atman is Brahman, you are that, I am Brahman, consciousness itself is Brahman, and also other statements, all is God, all is one. Sri Ramakrishna said, when you know yourself, you know God. In Bengali, he said, Manush nije ke chinte parle, Ishwar ke chinte pare. Which is also a Mahavakya, an identity statement. That what's our real nature? It is divine. It's one with God. And in Vedanta, the goal is to realize this, to see this for ourselves, to realize it, to experience it, and live from that perspective. The problem is, we are outward directed. One of the Upanishads says, Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhu. The Lord has created our mind, our senses, in such a way that our attention flows out to the world. It's not the fault of the senses. The eyes are meant to see, the ears are meant to hear. The mind is meant to think about what we have seen and heard. So that they are doing their job. But the problem there is, then we become engrossed in the world outside. And we forget that there is a reality, another reality. What is that other reality? Ourselves. I was just thinking about the whole field of consciousness studies, which is booming right now. But how long it took us scientifically to turn the attention back towards ourselves. We had to go to the moon, we had to go to the bottom of the ocean, we had to invent an artificial intelligence before we looked at Advaitic intelligence, AI. It's not so easy to turn back and take a look at ourselves. And it struck me what we are trying to do in Enlightenment, at least in the Vedantic path of self-knowledge, is take a selfie. The camera, it takes pictures, designed that way, it takes pictures of stuff outside. And the mind does that. It takes pictures of the stuff outside. The Upanishad said that our senses are turned outwards. Therefore, we do not see the inner self. What do we need to do? We need to take a selfie. The camera, the mobile camera, it has a particular feature where it can not only take pictures of the stuff out there, but if you know how, it can take a picture of you. It can take my picture, a selfie. And the mind can do that too. It's built in, long before Android and Apple. The Lord built it in. The same Upanishad, which says we flow outwards all the time, we do not see who we are. Avritta chakshur, amritattvamichan, kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamaikshat. It's some rare person who doesn't just take pictures of the world outside, decided to take a picture of themselves. How? You have to turn inwards. The Upanishad says, by covering the eyes. Literally it means turning the senses inwards, not flowing outwards. Why would you do such? What's the point of it? And just plain old me. What's the use of taking my picture? Well, people love their own pictures. I think half the pictures people take are selfies. So what do you get out of it? Amritatvamichan, the Sanskrit word means desiring immortality, desiring to overcome death, desiring to overcome misery, desiring to overcome limitation, sorrow and depression and struggle and negativity and conflict. All of these are promised if only you know yourself. If only you take a selfie. We didn't know a selfie was so important. So it always struck me, when I first saw the mobile cameras, it struck me that what we are attempting to do in enlightenment, in self-knowledge, is basically take a selfie. So what is this ultimate selfie? How do you do it? That's what we're going to look at today. The way I think of approaching it is this story which we have all heard. I have repeated it so many times. The story of the 10 people who crossed the river. But it's an amazing, amazing story. I'm still discovering wonderful nuances to it. You know the story. 10 friends crossed a river. They were on a journey. They crossed a river. And when they crossed, it suddenly struck one of them, maybe not the brightest among them. Did we all cross? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th person is drowned. Alas. His friends say, you didn't count right. Let me count. Let me count. And they start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each of them counted and they found only 9 people and they agreed. The 10th person is not here. The 10th person is drowned. And then they sit down and start crying until a wise passerby, or just generally any passerby, I think will do. You don't have to be particularly wise. Comes and says, why are you crying, my friends? Well, we went on this journey, we crossed the river, and our friend died. He drowned. How do you know that he drowned? Well, there were 10 of us. Now there are only 9 of us. And that man must have counted. And he said, how do you know there are only 9 of you? We counted. And the guy understood what's happening. He said, don't cry, my friends. I assure you the 10th person is there. See, right now they don't still see where the 10th person is, but there's somebody who assures them that there is a solution to these problems of life. The guru comes, the spiritual traditions come, the texts come. They tell us about God, Atman, Brahman, spirituality, all of that. It's assurance. We don't know yet, but we are assured that there is a way out, that there is a solution to all this. And they say, all right, we'll believe you since you say so, but where? Where is our friend, the 10th person? And the man says, please count. And they say, we counted. Humor me, count again. So one person starts counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I told you. And this man comes and catches his hand and turns it around and says, 10, you are the 10th. In Sanskrit, dashamastvamasi. 10th, the 10th you are. And this man goes, oh, I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I found the 10th person. The others say, let me try. And they try, and each of them find the 10th person, and they're all very happy. They've all taken selfies. They've found themselves. They were all very happy. The count is full now. Now, this story is actually pretty profound. There's a lot going on here. And the great non-dualist, a post-Shankara non-dualist who lived about 600, 700 years ago in the south of India, Vidyaranya Swami, who wrote one of the classics of post-Shankara Advaita, Panchadashi, 15 chapters on non-duality. So in one of those chapters, he takes up this story for analysis, further analysis. And he says, there are actually 7 stages to this story and 7 stages to spiritual life, to enlightenment. So and he compares them. He first gives us the 7 stages of the story, and then he compares them to our spiritual life. Come on in. Yes, there's plenty of space. Come on in. You're at the right time. We are beginning the talk. Come, you can sit anywhere you like. Yeah. So Vidyaranya Swami talks about 7 stages of the story and 7 stages of spiritual life. There's space here. Yeah. What's the first stage? He says the first stage is ignorance, not knowingness. So they didn't know that the 10th person was there. They didn't know. And they counted. They couldn't find the 10th person. It's not there. And the second stage is vikshepa. Ajnana is first stage. Ajnana is the Sanskrit word for ignorance, not knowing the existence of the 10th person. I can't find the 10th person. The second step is, once there is ignorance, there's bound to be error. We come to the wrong conclusion. Not knowing the truth, we come to the wrong conclusion. The second step is vikshepa, error. What's the error? Our friend, the 10th person, is drowned. Is dead, is drowned. Notice, the 10th person is there. Just because I haven't found him, I jump to the conclusion, well, if he were here, I would have found him. Since I can't find him, he must be dead. We just crossed a river. He must have drowned. So he is drowned. Error. Then what happens from error? Suffering comes, sorrow. And they start weeping and wailing. Third stage, dukkha. Ignorance, error, suffering. Ajnana, vikshepa, dukkha. Then the fourth stage comes. When this man comes and tells them, the 10th person is there, don't cry. This is called paroksha jnana, indirect knowledge. The knowledge we get from reading books, people telling us, watching YouTube videos, indirect knowledge. I come to know of some such thing. That the 10th person is there. Although I don't know where the 10th person, I looked, I couldn't find. Obviously he's drowned. But now you're telling me, and you seem to be a responsible sort of fellow, so I believe you. But where? And then comes the fifth stage, where we are asked to investigate with the help of that wise man who will show us how to investigate. We did it earlier, we didn't find it, but now we'll be shown how to do it, and it will be pointed out. The 10th person will be pointed out to us. That's what the Upanishads do. That's what the Vedanta teachings do. They are pointers. There's something which we are not seeing, something which we are missing. And Vedanta corrects that. It corrects our error. How does it correct our error? By pointing out the truth. How will you solve their problem? You have to show them the 10th person. You assure them the 10th person is there, but you have to show them that that 10th person is present. So what did that man do? He made him count again and turned his hand around and pointed, you are the 10th. This is called the fifth stage, the aparoksha jnana, direct realization. The direct realization. There's a difference between the fourth and the fifth. The fourth, he was just informed. He didn't get it. But in the fifth, he gets it. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how you do it. Then the sixth stage and the seventh, they come together. Sixth stage is dukkha nivritti. They stop crying. There's no reason to cry anymore. And the seventh stage is ananda prapti, attainment of bliss or fulfillment. They are happy. They rejoice in the company of their 10th friend back from the dead. So they are happy now. 7 stages. Now how does he apply it to spiritual life? We are Brahman, we are Atman, we are pure consciousness. We are not bodies and minds. Bodies and minds are there, but we are not them directly. We are directly limitless existence, immortal existence, shining consciousness, unlimited and ever fulfilled. None of it seems true to us. We feel we are this body. Why? Why? Apply the 7 stages of the story. Stage 1, this so-called Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness just talk to us. We don't know. We don't see it. It's not, we don't say we are experiencing it now. So we don't know that not knowingness, ajnana, ignorance of our real nature. Not ignorance about ourselves. We already know ourselves. I am Sarvapriyananda. Just look at my ID. It'll tell you who I am. But that is not the true knowledge of ourselves. So there is a true knowledge of ourselves which we do not know. And that's what Vidyaranya calls the first stage of the story. Ignorance. Remember the first stage? Ignorance. I do not know who I am. What happens after ignorance? You immediately make a mistake. Inevitably. Without right knowledge, right information, we inevitably make a mistake. And the mistake is, I think I am the body-mind. And that's very natural. Why? Because the body-mind is right here. The first thing that is presented to consciousness are thoughts, feelings, emotions, a personality, my life, and of course this body. So immediately I think, I must be this. Who else am I? I don't even have to think it. It's natural. Birth after birth, we are born with this identification with the body. It comes naturally to us. I am this. And it is carried over from past births, this kind of ignorance about our real nature and automatic identification with the body. Once you identify with the body, you're done. The aging of the body is my aging. The sickness of the body is my sickness. The senses, problems, I don't see so well. Well, I am becoming blind. I don't hear so well. I am becoming deaf. It seems utterly obvious to me because I am this. I am this psychophysical bundle. The body and the senses and the mind and the intellect and the ego and the memory, this bundle, this personality. I'm a person. Who could doubt that? Well, Vedanta does doubt it. And says this is ignorance. We do not know. It appears before us, but the mistake we have made is we owned it. We said, this is me. This is who I am. The reason we do that is because we don't know who we truly are. Our true nature, we do not know. Third, the moment we identify with the body, sorrow comes. Dukkha. Identification with body, once you have jumped into the well called the body, you're in trouble, in a world of trouble. Old age, disease, physical struggles, emotional struggles, the mind, struggles in society, conflict, all of them are owned and say, this is me, and that's all I am. And I'm born, I'm aging, and one day I'll die. That's it, I'll die. This is sorrow, dukkha. And it all comes from being rooted in the body idea, that I am this doll of flesh and blood. One of our philosophers, Arindam Chakravarti, has a lovely way of playing with words. He said, you know what really idol worship is? It's the idol. The idol. And not something made by Apple either. I saw this cartoon once. This little boy and his elder sister and mom, they're all standing, and a dad with a grumpy face standing on the side. The little boy is holding up this iPad. He says, iPad. And his sister is holding up a phone. He says, iPhone. And his mom's holding up a computer, a laptop. He says, iMac. And the dad's looking very thunderous, grumpy. He says, I paid. This identification with this idol. What's the idol? The ego. It's the doll of the ego, the idol. And it's connected to the mind, it's connected inevitably to this body. The moment we identify with the ego, we are identified with the mind. I think this is who I am. And automatically with the body. And every problem of the body, every problem of the mind, of the intellect, of the emotions, of the memory, and of the ego is all my problems. Inevitably, you can't avoid it. This is idol. Suffering comes. Then along comes Vedanta. The Upanishads, the teachers, they come and tell us, wait a minute, don't cry, relax. What you think of yourself is wrong. The real you does not have these problems. Being this body and mind, you're trying to solve all your problems. We try to do that. First of all, when we are foolish and immature, we try to rearrange the world. I want this much money and a house, nice house on the beach, and and so on and so forth. And worse than this, trying to rearrange how people behave with me. You couldn't make a more foolish mistake. They must all be unceasingly nice to me. Nobody is allowed to be rude to me or nasty to me. We quickly realize this won't work. This is a fool's errand. It will never work. Then we become a little more mature. Then we try to change ourselves. That's much more mature. Well, if I want to be happy, I must work on myself. I must do yoga. I must lead a disciplined life. And I must improve myself. I must do meditation and mindfulness and eat right and all of that. Change. That's more mature. Still will not work, because what you are trying to improve is continuously falling apart. The Sanskrit word for the body is sharira, that which decays, that which falls apart, that which is going. So you might not think that. If you don't agree with that, you are below 40. And if you're above 40, you will say, yeah, so what's new? So Vedanta comes and tells us this idea of the self which we have, which we never ever question. See, we flow outwards in search of satisfaction. The moment we flow outwards to people, to objects, to entertainment, to wealth, to success, to fame, when we flow outwards, we are we are admitting to ourselves, unwittingly, that the solution does not lie here with us. We think the solution lies out there. What are we seeking? We seek to live. Everybody, the basic fundamental thing is we don't want to die. We don't want to stop existing. Immortality. Vedanta says you are immortal, but we don't know that. So we seek immortality outside. Our immortal self, Sat, Brahman, which is pure being, it is so kind to us. It says, all right, when you're seeking outside, I will give you some reflected immortality, some years, further years of living in this body, some vitamin supplements which can increase your lifespan. It's called a reflection of our borrowed existence. From our real being, the body's borrowed existence, but whatever is borrowed is always going to be impermanent. It will die one day. What do we want? We want to be aware. We want to know. We want to be conscious. We don't want to be dull, dead. We want to exist, but if somebody says, okay, you'll exist, but you'll exist as a vegetable in a hospital ICU. You won't see anything, hear anything, feel anything, think anything. You want to exist like that on life support? No. I want to be aware. I want to know. I want to be, experiencing life. That is, we want consciousness. But we are pure consciousness itself. Since we don't know that, in Sanskrit, chit, pure consciousness. Since we don't know that, our self, Atman, which is so kind to us, reflects that consciousness in the mind. And so, since you're looking outwards, you will find consciousness in your own mind. But it's a reflected consciousness. It's a borrowed consciousness. So instead of pure consciousness, what we get is waking and dreaming and sleeping, alert and confused and bored and tired. Consciousness which is imperfectly reflected or borrowed in the mind. And worst of all, our seeking for fulfillment, happiness, lasting peace, search for Ananda. We don't know that we are Ananda itself, what Vedanta tries to show us. And so we seek it outside. We go with a begging bowl looking for Ananda, bliss outside. Our self is so gracious to us. Since you're looking outside, it tries to provide itself outside. But this happiness in the world is so little, so petty, so fleeting, that we are mostly unhappy. Once in a while, a little bit of happiness which comes and goes. It's all reflected, borrowed existence in the body, borrowed consciousness in the mind, and occasionally a little bit of borrowed happiness in the emotions. And that's all that we get in this world. Vedanta says we are seriously mistaken about ourselves, should look inwards. This is the fourth stage, the paroksha jnana, that there is a solution to all this. But it's not there. You have to look inwards. How do you do that? What is this looking inwards? I'll show you, Vedanta says. And we come to the fifth stage. You are the 10th. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That moment, 10, this is the ultimate selfie moment, where you turn the camera around. Having counted everything outside and rejected it, then you turn the camera around for a selfie. One must know how to turn the camera around, how to work it. That's what we will learn. Quick survey of the Vedantic techniques of turning inwards and taking a selfie. Details, care of so many talks, lectures, books, all of them teach you this thing. But just to give you a sample of how does it work. How do you take a selfie? There's a way to do it. You have to turn the camera, the phone's attention from the outside to this side. And there's a button you have to click to turn it around, and then you take the selfie. How do you inwardize the attention? How do you bring it in from outside to inside? There's a process. Gradually inwardizing, subtler and subtler, and each stage you reject. This is called neti, not this, not this. Until you come to the last possible moment, and then you take the selfie. So let's try that. Let's take a look. How does it work? What's the method? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is neti. The first guy is not the 10th guy. Second guy is not the 10th guy. We're looking for the 10th guy. So 9 have to be rejected, and then you find the 10th guy. And that also requires a turnaround. So we start. Where do you start? We're looking for what? Not 10th guy. We're looking for ourselves. Who am I? Since we have been told that what you thought of yourself is not you. What did I think of myself? I'm a person. What's a person? Well, first of all, start with the most obvious, a body. An embodied consciousness, an embodied mind is a person. So this body, am I the body? And this body idea, how do you transcend that? Vedanta has many, many, many ways. This is called inquiry, vichara, inquiry. We'll just take up one because we are pressed for time and we are really interested in the selfie. So we will move fast. Those who have studied Vedanta for some time, you'll immediately recognize what we are doing here. The body, take one method of inquiry, seer and seen. Drashta, drishya. The seer is always distinct from the seen. The subject is always different from this object. Here is something which is seen, a glass of water. It's seen. In Sanskrit, drishya, that which is seen. Whatever is seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelt, all of the five senses, the objects of the senses are in the category of the seen, drishya. Whatever we speak about, again, objects of language and the category of the seen, drishya. Whatever we can think about or feel about, those are all drishya, object, object, object. So the body, the world is the seen, clear. The body is also the seen. Because I can see it, I can touch it, I can smell it, I can taste it. I can even hear the rumblings in my tummy. Every sense objectifies the body. It's a thing. It's an object. I am the subject. It is seen. I am the seer. Therefore, neti, this is not me. I am not an object. I am not a thing. See, what we are asked to do here, this is the subtlest spiritual practice, which is called inquiry, self-inquiry, atma vichara. So what we have to do here is be careful and be slow. Be meticulous. First, settle down in the body. Feel the body. Don't over-intellectualize it. Vedanta works best when we understand what is being said and then immediately notice it. When I say, here is a glass of water and it's an object which is seen, don't think a glass of water is a seen object. No, take a look, see it. I am the seer, that is the seen. And it's real, it's not theoretical. I remember I was giving this talk once in India. After the talk, this lady who was fairly indignant, I could see in her face, she stormed up to the Q&A first, and the first question she asked, she was worked up about it. She said, all of this is fine, but it's also theoretical. I said, madam, not one thing I said here is theoretical. That you are standing here physically in front of me, is it theory or is it a fact? She said, it's a fact. The body is not a theory, it's a fact. And so it is seen, it's an object just like that. Look at it, settle down in it and see it's a thing. No matter how close it seems to me, how intimate it seems to me, it's still a thing. So this is one argument. I can give you like 8 or 9 like this, different arguments to show you you cannot be the body. Not only we have to understand that we cannot be the body, we have to see. There's a difference between understanding and seeing. So I see that I am not the body. Why? On what grounds? It is drishya, seen, an object. I am the subject. Then what am I? I'm there. I'm here, right here. Vedanta tells us, look inwards. Subtler than the body, inward to the body is what? What do you come across next? Vedanta proposes something, the breath, prana, the forces, physiological forces which keep this body alive, which makes it a living body, the life forces. And the most obvious of it is the breath. Right here at the nostrils, you can feel it. You feel the inflow and the outflow of the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. The breath itself is not meant. It includes, it's like the tip of the iceberg. It includes the whole physiological system. Incredible thing which keeps the respiration going, the circulation going, the digestion going, the nervous system going. All of it is powered by prana. It's a power pack. Am I that? But that's also drishya. It's also seen. It's an object. What do you do when you go to your mindfulness teacher, meditation teacher? What does the teacher tell you? Sit calmly, quietly, direct your attention to the breath, the in-breath. Keep your attention there. Mind wanders. No, bring your attention back to the breath. That's the root instruction in mindfulness meditation. But what Vedanta takes away from it is, so you're putting your attention on the breath. You're aware of the breath. Yes. In that case, you are not the breath. It's an object. You're aware of it. It is drishya. It is seen. And I can sense the breath. It is seen. Therefore, I am not the breath either, because I am the seer of the breath. I am the one who is being mindful of the breath. So I am not the breath. And we'll see at this point, yeah, I know all that, dummy. Go on, move on. Faster. I know I'm not the body and breath. I don't think I'm a bundle of skin and bone and flesh and hair and blood. No. I don't think I am this air whooshing in and out of my lungs. No. Then what am I? The Upanishad says, look, the Vedanta says, look inwards. You are here, right? You're not the body, not the breath. Then what are you? Something subtler, something more inward. The mind. The mind, thoughts, memories, my personality, my story. And we say, yes, that's what I meant. That's what I am. Most people identify automatically with the mind. We think if you push people, what exactly are you? A person. What's a person? A mind and a body? Or a mind embodied? Am I the mind? Might think so, yes, what else could I be? But the mind is also seen. It's called introspection. Take a look inside, think a thought. The funny thing about the mind is when you try to think a thought, there are no thoughts. When you try not to think, they're full of thoughts. So A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, Om Namah Shivaya, any thought, mundane thought, holy thought, sacred thought, a mantra, whatever it is, a prayer, a thought. You clearly experienced it. Each of us, look inside, we have an inner private life of thoughts, memories, desires, impulses, perceptions, all internal. Those are thoughts. In Sanskrit, there are precise words for that. Chitta vritti, movement of the mind. Any movement of the mind, any thought, any emotion, any memory, they're chitta vritti movements. Any intellectual analysis, like we are doing right now, they're all chitta vritti. And the interesting thing is, they're all observed or they're all experienced. They can be. If you draw your attention to it, you'll experience it. They're all drishya, not me. I am clearly the experiencer of the thoughts. Just think a thought, A, B, C, D. Am I A, B, C, D? Of course not. It's just like self-talk. It's like talking in the mind. That's all that a thought is. I am not the thoughts. It's a great freedom to have this gap between I and my thoughts. Even the thought I, the ego is also a thought. This freedom from the ego is the first thing that spiritual life gives us. Bhakti gives it to us, devotion gives it to us by diminishing the ego in the presence of God. I am nothing, thou art all, my beloved. The ego diminishes. Karma yoga does it through selfless service. Instead of aggrandizing myself, I, me, this person, I pour out my time, energy, money, all of this in the service of others. The ego diminishes. Raja Yoga, the method of meditation, diminishes the ego. The ego is most happy when the mind is restless. The ego doesn't like it when the mind is still. Why? It gets isolated. All its friends, its henchmen, its thugs, the thoughts, the feelings, emotions, desires, they have all been quietened. The poor fellow is now isolated, the ego. It looks around, where are my friends gone? And we go, aha, got you. What do you realize? I am not you. Oh, ego, I am not you. You are also a thought. You are also an activity of the mind. When the mind goes to sleep in deep sleep, when the mind is settled in deep meditation, no ego. Yet you exist. Who is meditating after all? Who is sleeping after all? You. I am not the mind. Incredible. Incredible. If you can just settle down there and see, the mind is like this glass and its contents. The mind is like this glass and contents of water. Mind contains thoughts, feelings, emotions, something like that. If you get a freedom from the mind, you can directly see it's not me. Go further. What else? Vedanta says there's a higher mind. Call it the intellect. The one which understands intelligence. It's part of the mind, but Vedanta insists on separating it. Why? Because a lot of this inquiry is being done by the intellect. So am I this intellect? Am I intelligence? Often, intelligent people often think so. They want to stop there. I am intelligence. No, even intelligence can be understood. Especially when we don't understand. When we're kids working on a math problem. I don't get it. I'm struggling with it. That's the intellect. The next moment I get it. Eureka, got it. That's the intellect. It's called determinative function, which says, I got it, I understand. This clarity we have, I am Sarvapriyananda sitting and talking to you here. That's intellect. It's wrong, entirely wrong, but it's still intellect. Vedanta is trying to revise that. That's still, our point here, however, is that's still objective. It's a very subtle object. Now we are in a realm which most modern consciousness studies, they don't understand. If you ask people who are working in consciousness studies, what are you studying? They will say intelligence, memory, emotion, perception. All of it is mind, senses, and intellect. All of them are objects, 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 not consciousness. This they don't understand. There's a reason also they don't understand. We'll see. I'm not even the intellect. That's also an object. I can sense the intellect when it doesn't understand. I sense the intellect when it understands. The moment of, aha, I got it. That's intellect. If I'm not the intellect, go further. Vedanta says, turn in further inwards, go deeper. What am I? What else is there? Think about it. When I do not perceive the world, I don't have any sense of the body. I do not see anything, hear anything, smell anything, touch anything. Then the breath is even and slow, and the mind calms down and still. The intellect is not analyzing, without imagining anything, trying to understand anything, without remembering anything, keeping the feelings neutral. What am I? What's there? Nothing. Just blank. So am I this blankness? This utter seed state, stillness, which we all experience every day in deep sleep. You can make it even deeper, general anesthesia. Yeah. Yeah. Am I that? That potential state? Could be. But notice, that is also an object of experience. We can talk about it after we come out of it. What did it feel like to be in general anesthesia? We'll say, it felt like nothing. That's also an experience. I am not tired of repeating. It's a very profound insight. Deep sleep, general anesthesia, is not an absence of experience. It's an experience of absence. If this is an experience of absence, who or what is experiencing it there? Now we are at the very edge. We have to make that turn now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What else is there? If I am not that general anesthesia, that deep sleep, blankness, if I am not that, what else is there beyond nothing? I can't think of anything beyond nothing. Then who am I? I am not the body, I saw that. I am not the pranic system, I saw that. I am not the mind, the thoughts and feelings and emotions, I saw that. I am not the intellect, I saw that. I am not the absence of these things, the blankness which I experienced in deep sleep. I saw that too. I understand. I saw means I understand that. Someone might say here, a particularly clever one, yeah, I am not any of them individually. I am all of them. You put them together, I am the bundle of body, prana. Some of you are nodding your head. Yeah, that's right. No, it still doesn't work. If I am not the body because it's an object and I am the witness of that, then you collection of objects also, that I am not that. See, if I am not the glass with water in it, and I am not the table, and I am not the microphone, if you put them all together, will it be me? No, of course not. I am not an object, nor am I a collection of objects. So I am none of them. Yet I do exist. Whatever is possible, I checked, and I say, no, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me, it's an object, it's an object. I'm the subject, I'm the seer, these are seen, these are drishya, I'm the drashta. But I can't find the drashta. Where am I in all of this? I can't locate myself. And then the teacher comes and says, why can't you locate yourself? Go back to the story. This is the beauty of the story. Why do you think the counter couldn't find the 10th man? Because he was not counting himself. Right, that's right. He was not counting himself. And so also, we are not counting ourselves, we are not locating ourselves when we locate body, prana, mind, intellect, and all of that. But a more subtle story, a subtle aspect of it. Why was he not counting himself? He was looking outside. He was looking away from himself. Why? To push it further. Why? There's a very good reason why he was looking outside. Everything is outside. Where did he find 9 people? Outside. 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Logically, by induction, I should find the 10th guy there after the 9th. Why? Because the other 9 were there. But the 10th one is not like the other 9. The 10th one is not like the other 9. It's not out there. I'm sure they are there, 9 are there. It seems very rational that the 10th one should be there. And I don't find him, so it's not there. 10th one is not there. But I missed out something. I missed out the counter. In counting, I missed out the counter. In knowing, I missed out the knower. Kena Upanishad says, other than the known, other than the unknown, anya deva tad vidita datho vidita dadhi. So other than the known and higher than the unknown. What's other than the known and other than the unknown? If you say other than the known, you will say it's unknown. But if you say it's other than the unknown, then what? You'll say it's known. No, other than both of them. What could be other than known and unknown? Everything in the universe is known or unknown. It could only be you, the knower. You, the knower. Right? The knower is something other than known and unknown. The knower is not unknown. It's obvious, you are there. And yet you can't objectify yourself. Consciousness itself, awareness itself, being itself. Notice, you can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. It's not an object at all. Yet it's real. So the Upanishad says, Vedanta tells us, now relax in the quietness, stillness of meditative introspection. Notice what is noticing. You can't objectify it. How do you do it? There's subtle instructions. These are the final moments before the selfie. The little bit of adjustment is required. Do not try to grasp it. Grasping it is again objectifying it. If you try to grasp it, you will say the 10th man is missing. Then what can you do? What you can do is thoroughly see for yourself what I thought I was myself. I was those, the body, the mind and all. Thoroughly examine it and be absolutely clear, I am none of them. But how will that reveal me? Because you are self-revealed. The Atman is ever shining. You don't have to reveal yourself. We'll see that a little later. You don't have to reveal yourself. You are always shining. Vivekananda says open secret. Your real nature is the open secret. You don't have to reveal it through Vedanta. It's obvious. But we are missing it like that man who couldn't count himself. So what you do is you count the 5. Count the 5, neti neti, not the body, not the prana, not the mind, not the intellect. And just don't repeat it mechanically. See for yourself. See, the body is a fact. It's not theory. The prana, the mind, the intellect, they're all facts which we can experience right now. What prevents us from noticing? Okay, that's what's going on. That's machinery. Body is physical, biological machinery. Prana is biological machinery. The mind and the intellect are subtle, inner, mental machinery. And shutting it down is the causal state. What are these appearing? The way to do it is, there are multiple ways. First of all, clarity that I am none of them. And then, these are subtle matters. You can take one of 2 ways. One is, go to the last known activity, the subtlest activity of the mind. Like the sort of the 8th person, 9th person, something else is there. But the almost last known subtle activity of the mind, which is ego. Center yourself in the sense of I. And then ask, clearly the I is being experienced, not this I, the vertical I. The ego is there's a feeling of I. To whom is this feeling coming? Ask that. One can go back using the I as a mirror. Like a mirror, go look at the mirror, you can see the face in the mirror. That's not the real face, by the way. From there you go back, here is the real face. The real face is not seen directly. You can see a reflection of the face. From the reflection, you can trace it back to the real face. This is who I am, not that. Similarly, from the I, how do you go back? You ask yourself, to what is this I sense appearing? To what is this ego appearing? That's one way of making that turn. What am I telling you? The final adjustment before the selfie, that turn. One way is from the I sense, look back. Use the I as a mirror. The other way is, go further than the I sense. Just blank out everything. without the world, without the body, without seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, without speaking, without thinking, without remembering, don't remember anything, even my own name, without analyzing, without imagining, shutting down everything into an utter blankness. What is experiencing that blankness? It's a turn like this from there. Try it at home. Don't directly try to turn around and see for yourself. You'll just get a headache. Either we will mistake some subtle movement of the mind for, this is pure consciousness, Atman, Brahman, I've got it. No, if you've got it, you haven't. Because it's not something which you can get, not an object. It's never, never, never an object. At this point, somebody asked once, it would help if you have 10 things. 9 and then go for 9. It'll match the story more carefully. You just did 5, the physical, the vital, the mental, the intellectual, and the causal. In Sanskrit, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. But in the story, you had 10 people, Could we do it with 10? You can. I didn't know that. One monk, I don't know if he came up with it himself. He uses the method of the 3 states of waking, dreaming, sleeping. 3 states that describes our lives. I am the waker, this is my waking world. I fall asleep, everything here disappears, my body also disappears from my experience. And a mind projects a world of dreams. And I am myself there in the world of dreams as a person in my own dream. And then that also shuts down blank, an experience of nothing, an experience of absence. We call it deep sleep. And this method asks, to whom or to what are these 3 appearing and disappearing? Exactly like the method of the 5 sheets which we saw earlier. All of them are the 10th man story. But then this monk, you expanded this into 10. Says, first, the waker, you, right now, each of us. The waker, that's number 1. Number 2 is the dreamer. Dreamer means the one who is in dream and the person in the dream, the person in the dream. Number 3 is the deep sleeper, the person merged in blankness. That's number 3. Number 4 is the world of the waking. Number 5 is the world of dreams, every dream world. Number 6 is the darkness, the world of deep sleep. Number 7 is the waking state itself, the waker and the waking world. This is called the waking state, Jagrat Avastha. Number 8 is the dream state. Number 9 is the deep sleep state. To what are all of these appearing and disappearing? Just say, I am none of them. I am not the waking person with this body and mind, and I am not this waking world. I am apart from it. And that which is experiencing it. When all of this disappears, this body, mind, everything, the physical form and the physical universe disappears and is replaced by a dream world, I keep on watching that. But I'm distinct from it. And when that is also replaced by blankness of deep sleep, the subject and the object are merged there, I keep on watching that. And then the waking again comes. That one is the 10th, Turiya. So now you have 10. Try the 10th man approach. So waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Waking world, dream world, deep sleep world. There's no world in deep sleep, it's a potential. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. How many are there? 9. Who or what is experiencing all of these 9? That's the 10th. That's what you are. And when we come to that, we are asked to experience this. That notice, it is in that one consciousness. It must be consciousness, because I'm sure I exist and I'm aware. So it exists and is aware. It is in that one consciousness. The waker and the waking world appear and disappear. The dreamer and the dream world appear and disappear. The deep sleeper and the deep sleep world appear and disappear. That one consciousness spreads across all of these worlds. It's like the movie screen. Whatever movie you play or you don't play, the screen is always there. Whatever you see in the movie, wherever it is, whenever it is it ancient Roman Empire? Is it a galaxy far, far away in Star Wars? The screen is there. Whatever the time of the movie, whatever the space of the movie, whoever the characters in the movie are, the screen is there. You, the 10th one, the Turiya, you are there. Whatever is there in the waking world, whatever is there in the dream world, and whenever there's nothing also in the deep sleep, you are there. You are not limited. You're unlimited by the appearances of waking, dreaming, deep sleep. This unlimited consciousness. The body is nothing to you. The body might disappear. You continue in the dream world anyway. The birth of the body is not your birth. The death of the aging of the body is not your aging. You don't age. You are the witness consciousness. The death of the body is not your death. In fact, even if the whole movie were switched off also, what to speak of one character in the movie? If the character dies, nothing to the screen. If the whole movie were switched off, screen is fine. If the universe disappears, Vivekananda says that. If the universe disappears, it is still nothing to me. Because nothing that was real will ever be harmed. It's still preserved. It is you who are appearing as the universe. In the presence of the movie, in the absence of the movie, the screen is fine. But without the screen, no movie. In the presence of the waking, dreaming, deep sleep, in the absent state of deep sleep, you are fine. You're the witness of it. Without you, no waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Waking state, gross, physical state. Dream state, subtle, mental state, projections of the mind. Deep sleep is called the causal, not casual, causal state. All of them appear and disappear to one absolute, which you are. Tattvamasi, you are that. Thus we recognize ourselves. This unlimited being, not subject to old age, disease and death. This unlimited being in which the entire cosmos, not this one little fellow, the entirety is appearing and disappearing in this one unlimited consciousness. That I am. Who is an other to me here? They are all appearances in me. They are none other than me. I alone appear. Just as I appear as Sarvapriyananda, I appear as everybody here. Just as you appear as yourself, you appear as everybody here. Not one being here is other than you. This is the grand oneness that non-duality speaks about. Vivekananda said it is the divinity of the self within and the oneness of all existence. Appreciate this and you see how you are beyond sorrow. From this perspective, the moment you realize this is the ultimate selfie. That such a thing exists. And then a further movement comes. This is important. Sri Ramakrishna says, when you look back upon what you did, the waker and the waking world, the dreamer and the dream world, the deep sleeper and the deep sleep world, the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, Sri Ramakrishna says, after you realize the Turiya, then you look back and you see, I am all of those things also. Every character in the movie is the screen. If you touch that character in the movie, what will you touch? The screen. Every place in the movie, every time in the movie is the screen on which the movie is playing. Similarly, everything in this universe, from the greatest to the most humble and ordinary, is you, that unlimited consciousness. Vivekananda would use shocking language. He says, the very worm is brother to the Nazarene. Worm, the most humble creature, and Jesus Christ, Son of God. They are brothers. Brothers in the sense, one consciousness appearing as the tiniest manifestation, most ordinary, and the most glorious manifestation. They're all united in one divinity. So in that sense, we are all that one consciousness, and you are that, not part of it, not part of it. You can say whole of it, but there's no part and whole there. There's one indivisible consciousness. Each one of us is fully that. In this, each one, even this language is caused by bodies, by minds, by personalities. This is the ultimate selfie. Then you see that the first is realization of this infinite consciousness. And then you notice that this infinite consciousness is non-dual. There is no second reality apart from it. Right? This non-duality of this infinite consciousness is the oneness of this universe. It's a vastness. It's not a small, isolated consciousness, not the body, not the mind, a tiny bit of light called consciousness. No. You are the ocean of which this universe is waves. Entirety of the waking universe, there are waves in you, the ocean. Entirety of the subtle universe, the dream universe. Entirety of the causal universe. which is Maya basically. These are waves in you. But you are the ocean itself. You are water itself, in which the waves arise, subsist, and are absorbed back again, which it cannot exist without you. This ultimate oneness, this non-duality. Sri Ramakrishna says, coming down from that ultimate selfie, he didn't say selfie. He says, coming down from that realization of Brahman, of Atman, he sees the ego, the mind, all that he had left behind earlier, those also I am. There the 10th man analogy breaks down. The 10th man is not the other 9. But having realized that I am the 10th person, you look back and you see they are all appearances in me. Nothing here is a second reality apart from me. This is non-duality. From that position, what sorrow can there be? Who is death? Who is imperfection? What do you lack? Who is your enemy? Can there be an enemy? There can't be an enemy. They're all you. They're all me. The guy who was fighting with you in your dream, the moment you wake up, you really hate that guy. You wake up, you realize, oh God, it was me. Who else was there in your dream except you? You want to say that's okay in a dream, but in a waking, that guy is real and it's really annoying. From the perspective of the body, that guy is outside you. From the perspective of the personality, that's another person, a very annoying person. But from the perspective of the witness consciousness, both you and that, they are appearing in you. They have no existence apart from you. It's just you. The whole universe is you. There's no... Her last words, Ma Sharada's last words, very last words before she departed. The whole universe is yours. Learn to make the world yours. There's nobody here who is an other to you. You see today how deep those words run, down to the most grandest non-dual philosophy and teaching. There is an issue here which I wanted to deal with, but I'll deal with in the Q&A because we have run out of time here. I'll wrap it up now and then we'll deal with the Q&A. The issue there is, in this whole process, what's the role of the mind? Some say, so you gave a process of inquiry. Clearly it's a very intellectual process. So can you do that? Can you argue your way to enlightenment? What is the role of the mind? Does it have no role at all? Does it have some role at all? What exactly is the exact moment of the selfie? What's happening there? Can be narrowed down? Because it's clearly something is happening in the mind, a transition. What's happening there precisely? That we'll talk about in the Q&A session. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Very good.
This is, we are very proud to say, from Vedanta Press, the only actual book that was written as a book. It is available in the bookshop. We ask that you come to the bookshop and get the book, and then Maharaj will be giving a signing in the greenhouse living room. Now, Swami Sarvapriyananda has asked a couple of requests here. Swami has beautifully explained to us that the selfie is not the body. And at this time, as we are now understanding this, and pure consciousness can't be photographed, we ask you to resist somewhat that. The other thing is, because, again, we may not be the body, but we do depend on food, at least to a certain extent, and Maharaj wants to be sure that we don't send Swami away hungry, that we do keep the questioning to this session here, and share your questions with each other rather than storing your question and trying to ask Swami while he's doing the book signing. And so, Maharaj.
So it's the Q&A now and then the book?
Yes, the book is From Illusion to Infinity, Discovering the Self.
Now, please, only 10 minutes gap. Just go and have some cup of tea or something and come back for question answer. Okay? So it is now 12, so we will be back by 12:10. At this, that better to start that question answer, and then we'll have signing, book signing, and then prasad for everyone. Don't go back.
I didn't hear that from anyone. Nothing. I didn't hear it from Staggle books. No, that is his books, not Swami's.
Alright, I gotta get some water while I still can.
Yeah, now please take your seats. Please take your seats.
Yes, yes. Yeah. My name is Krishnananda Kini. See, when we realize ourselves, we see God, then why Lord Buddha did not see God or speak about it?
Here is the question. If we realize ourselves, we see God. Or the exact description was, when you know yourself, you know God. So why did the Lord Buddha not speak about God? Buddhists are either agnostic about God or they are openly atheistic about God. Either they don't talk about God at all. So what do you discover when you know yourself? You realize you're not the body, you're not a physical creature, a biological creature, you're not a mental being. You are the spiritual being, which is limitless consciousness, limitless existence, limitless bliss. Now in Vedanta, God is this Satchidananda, this limitless being itself, associated with Maya, the power of Maya, which enables that being to project this universe. That's why God in religion is called the creator of the universe. The definition of God in all theistic religions is the creator. But creator in what way? Atman or Brahman, pure consciousness with Maya, projects this universe. The same Satchidananda, the same pure consciousness with the what is called individual ignorance. So these are terms which you learn when you start studying Vedanta. The same Brahman with the individual ignorance becomes a sentient being, a jiva. It's like this. The same actor can put on the gorgeous dress of an emperor, come out on stage in a Broadway play. And then he goes back into the green room and changes his dress and puts on the dress of a homeless guy and comes out as a beggar or a homeless person. Now, in the audience, you're watching the play and somebody whispers to you, the emperor is the beggar. If you know who the beggar is, you know who the emperor is. Because actually it's not really an emperor, not really a beggar. It's an actor. You see the difference? In a Broadway play, it's the same guy who's put on a particular dress and giving out the lines of a beggar and acting as a beggar. He goes back to the green room and comes back as an emperor and speaks like the emperor, has got the dress of an emperor. So the dress of the emperor is Maya, which turns pure consciousness into the god of religion. The dress of this individual causal body, subtle body, it turns that pure consciousness into a sentient being. God is one, sentient beings are many. But behind both of them is the same one underlying consciousness. Okay. Now the Buddha, when the Buddha realizes, who am I or what am I? What is the reality of this psychophysical system? Buddha realized it. Later on in Mahayana systems, what's called the Buddha nature, the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddha nature. That would be the Ishvara of Vedanta, of theistic religions. From that perspective, they don't talk about it. Just reach the pure consciousness and say that we have understood what reality is. They don't want to come back the other way around and say, what is the source of this entire cosmos? They will not talk about it. You will notice in Buddhism, there isn't much discussion about the nature of the cosmos. It's all an inquiry into ourselves. There is a world, but look inside and find out who or what we are. And then you find the emptiness and the luminosity, and you realize you are that. So both Buddhism and Vedanta, what we discovered now is exactly what the Buddha would have discovered. Of course, it's debated. The Buddhists will say no, and we'll say yes. The traditional Advaitins and the traditional Buddhist masters will disagree. The traditional Advaitins will dismiss the Buddhists as atheists, as agnostics, or as nihilists, shunyavadi. The Buddhists will say that these are people are talking about some eternal God or self. No, both of them. I put it this way. There is a way of misunderstanding Advaita, there is a way of misunderstanding, I'm speaking about the emptiness school of Buddhism, Madhyamaka. The way of misunderstanding Madhyamaka and the way of misunderstanding Advaita. What's the way of misunderstanding Advaita? To think that Brahman is something, some object, some entity. Brahman is not an entity, not an object. Immediately when you hear that, you say, then it doesn't exist. It's an idea or a concept. No. It's like saying you have necklaces and bracelets and rings, and then somebody tells you about gold, and our immediate thing, what we think immediately is gold is a new kind of ornament. Then we are told gold is not another kind of ornament. Then you say, if it's not a kind of ornament, then it doesn't exist. It does exist. It is the reality of all the ornaments. It's in fact more real than a necklace and a bracelet. Are you following me? No? So gold is not another ornament. Gold is the reality of those ornaments. So Advaita does not say that Brahman is a thing. It's the reality which appears as all things. There is a way of misunderstanding Buddhism, the emptiness school, Madhyamaka. The misunderstanding would be they are teaching nothing. They are nihilists. They are saying nothing exists. No. They themselves deny that. You are doing us an injustice by saying that shunya means nothing. What is the place where they both meet? Advaita and Madhyamaka. Both of them are trying to point to no thing, no hyphen thing. Okay. No? So what the Buddhists do not affirm or deny, they take an agnostic position, is about the theistic God. But the Advaitic Brahman, the question would be still very, it's an open question. I would say that what the Buddha discovered was the same Atman or Brahman. They would say, of course, no. Some of them agree, some of them don't. I have met Buddhist masters who agree. Yes. Who's next? Tell us your name and ask the question.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Vikram, and my question is, at what point in the human journey do we lose awareness of our true nature and become ignorant? Is it when the baby is in the mother's womb, or is it when the baby is born and takes an individual form, or is it much later through conditioning? And for the baby, how can we avoid the process of being ignorant so that the baby does not suffer in its life?
Shankaracharya says in his Adhyasa Bhashya, his essay on superimposition, he says, Naisargiko ayam loka vyavahara. Naisargika, the Sanskrit word Naisargika means natural. We are born with this ignorance. How can you prevent the baby from acquiring this ignorance? You can't. The baby is born with that ignorance. Not only now, we are born life after lifetime with that ignorance. Ignorance is natural to us. It's our natural condition. That's why we are born. That's why we are going through these cycles of births and deaths. What is not natural, what requires going to school, is knowledge. Just like any other knowledge. The child is ignorant when it's born, but it needs to go to school to learn mathematics and language and science and all of that. Similarly in Vedanta, our ignorance is a primal ignorance, called the primordial ignorance, ajnana. And to remove that, knowledge is required. Knowledge is introduced, then ignorance is removed. You can push it further back. So you said, okay, by the time the child is born, the child already has ignorance. But where did this ignorance come from in the first place? Would that be your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's you push it further back. ultimately, where did this ignorance arise at all? If the only reality is non-dual Brahman, there's no scope of ignorance. How can there be a shadow in the sun? It's just light. How can there be darkness in the sun? How can there be ignorance in Brahman? The answer there is, ignorance is beginningless. It never began. I'll answer that, understand that in two ways. One is a very straightforward, logical situation. If Brahman is the only reality, it stands to reason there can't be anything else. It always has been one non-dual reality. Even time and space come afterwards. So you can't even say always it has been that. Only that, without a second. Therefore, all that comes afterwards, ignorance, samsara, all of this, cannot be real in the sense of Brahman. It can only be in the movie, in the world appearance. Both ignorance and knowledge, both bondage and liberation, they must be part of the movie, not part of the screen. Advaita Vedanta, if you push the logic to the extreme, it will become like this. But going back, the second thing I want to say is, to the actual claim that ignorance is beginningless, that's actually a pretty simple claim. I have explained it other times. Professor J.N. Mahanti, Jitendranath Mahanti, who passed away recently, was a great philosopher, well established in both Indian and Western philosophy. He explained it to us once. He said, ignorance, any kind of ignorance is always beginningless. So he asked us, do you know German? We said, no. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Do you know German? No. Then you are ignorant of German. We said, yes. When did your ignorance of German start? We said, well, at my birth. Oh, so before your birth you knew German. And then we went, I see what you mean. Ignorance is beginningless. Which ignorance? Any, could be ignorance of German, could be ignorance of French, could be ignorance of computer science, or ignorance of Vedanta. Just like that, ignorance of our real nature is beginningless. But it comes to an end. The moment you take a few lessons in German, it comes to an end. The moment you start learning Vedanta, it begins to go away, the ignorance about our real nature. And it still doesn't explain all this. Right, but when you become enlightened, you see that what always was this non-dual Brahman. This was always an appearance. And the appearance will still continue. As long as you continue in this body, it will still appear like this. The movie will continue, but then it won't bother you anymore. Because you know the reality of the movie. It's not even that it's false, it's a movie, it's a dream. Vivekananda goes further. If you don't like the idea that the world is false, Vivekananda says, you don't even have to dismiss it as false. Vedanta just explains it. For the first time, you begin to understand what's going on here. That's it.
Namaste Swamiji, my name is Devahuti, and I have this confusion or a question that when there is a dream in the morning, I don't have to do neti, don't have to ask Astavakra. I just know that it is not real, it's not true. But the same mind, I have one mind, and the same mind now, after doing japa, doing meditation, reading, neti, and 100% understanding, I still feel I'm Devuti, and yes. I don't feel I'm consciousness. So why the same mind is acting differently?
Yes. So she's saying that a dream, I understand, it's a dream. The moment I wake up, I don't have to do any spiritual practices, I don't have to listen to YouTube videos explaining that it's a dream. No. The moment I wake up, it's gone. I know it was a dream. I didn't have to do anything about it. But here I am, you're telling us this world we are experiencing is dreamlike, but I don't feel it's dreamlike. Even after all sorts of spiritual practices which I've done, I still feel I'm this person. That was the question. Notice how the dream became a dream. How did you realize it's a dream? What happened? Not in the dream itself, after waking up. The surest way of negating something is to get in touch with the truth. The truth was the waking world with respect to the dream. I woke up. Now I know this. In comparison with this, what was that? Oh, that was a dream. Until I get hold of this, it's impossible to cancel that out. Whatever you do in the dream, suppose someone comes and tells you in a dream, this is a dream, and try this way, meditation, attend lots of dream YouTube videos and all of that, and then you can wake up maybe. Maybe you could. In dreams, if you start analyzing, is this a dream or not, you could wake up from a dream. That's what we are trying to do. This will all become a dream instantly when you realize the truth, that Atman or Brahman, that we are that. When it becomes clear, it's already here, it becomes clear to us. That is an example. From dream to waking is a change of state. In Sanskrit, it's called avastha. Whose state? State of what? Often people use misnomer, state of consciousness. They are not states of consciousness. They're states of the mind. It is the mind which wakes. It's the mind which falls asleep and dreams. It's the mind which goes into deep sleep and wakes up again. Not Atman. Atman is ever shining. So when the mind changes a state, it falsifies the earlier state, the dream state. So all that I saw, that was a dream. This is real, this is waking. From the Atman's perspective, now we want to wake up from all states into the reality. Going from dream to waking is like taking a bracelet, golden bracelet, melting it and turning it into a necklace. The bracelet was one state of the gold. The necklace is another state of the gold. That's called one ornament, this is called another ornament. What continued in between? What continued in between? What was there? What's there as the gold? Gold. It's gold throughout. It's gold when it's a bracelet. It's gold when it's a necklace. It's gold throughout. When you want to wake up from all the ornaments to gold itself, it's like that. Now we are moving from deep sleep to dream to waking to dream to deep sleep. We are cycling through that. But when you want to wake up from all of these states to what's underneath all the states, not the waker, not the dreamer, not the deep sleeper. This is what we are cycling through now. Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. From waking up from them, all three, the underlying consciousness, which is called the fourth. First, waker. Second, dreamer. Third, deep sleeper. Fourth, turiya. We want to wake up from these states into the reality. You want to wake up from the ornaments into the gold. Where is the gold available in which ornament? Which one? All. Do you have to melt the ornament into a shapeless mass to make it gold? No. It's available in the ornament as is. So the turiya is available right now as is. But what it requires is inquiry. The straight answer to your question is, effortlessly it will become dream-like if you can experience the truth. If you can wake up, you can experience the waking state, the dream state will become like a dream, will become a dream. Similarly, from the waking state, if you awaken to Brahman, this waking state also will become dream-like.
That is the question, how? Why this mind?
By inquiry. By inquiry. There, the mind is changing into from one state. One ornament is being melted and made into another ornament. The same thing is being made into different ornaments. But if you want to know what the ornament itself is, it's no use melting it and making it into different ornaments. Wherever that ornament is, whether it's bracelet or necklace, you have to inquire there itself and see what it's made of. So here also changing states will not help. Because what you're looking for is right here. Sri Ramakrishna put it very simply. The one who has it here has it there also. The one who does not have it here does not have it there also. What is here and there? It could be here in the United States and there in India. It could be in Calcutta and it could be in the Himalayas. It could be now and then. It could be now and after going to heaven. If you have it now, you have it there. If you don't have it now, you won't have it there. It is the fool who thinks after death I'll be liberated. No. What will happen? This. A worse version of this. A worse version of this. That's why every religion warns us against suicide. You're creating worse conditions for yourself. It's a worse version of this. There are those who think that by separating myself from the world, I'll become liberated. They're called Sankhyans, the division, Viveka. Prakriti is all the world, body, mind, universe, all is nature. I am the witness consciousness. There are those who think by wiping out the experience of the world and sitting awake in samadhi but experiencing nothing at all, then I'll become liberated. No. Liberation is already our real nature. It's only by appreciation of our real nature we see that we are liberated. That's the Advaitic position. Yes. You have to grab his attention. No use looking at me. grab his attention or his attention?
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes.
My name is Vinod. My question is from Ramcharitmanas. It says, Ishwar Ansh Jiva Vinashi Chetan Amal Sahaj Sukhrashi. How this is related to the Vedanta?
It is Vedanta. Directly if related, it becomes Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, Ishvara Amsh, part. When you talk about part and whole, this is Vishishtadvaita. Advaita will say Ishvara and Jiva are one reality. Not that you are Ishvara, not that Ishvara is Jiva. Rather, Ishvara and Jiva are both Satchidananda Brahma. But poetically speaking, you can say Ishvara Amsh. Hanuman, same Ramchandra asks Hanuman, what do you think about me? Hanuman says, Deha Buddhya Dasoham. As this body, as Hanuman, I am your servant. You are the Lord. Jiva Buddhya Twadangshaka. As a sentient being, as a Jiva Vinash, I am your part. See, exactly it matches. You are the whole, I am a part of you. Atma Buddhya Tvamevaham iti me nishchitamati. As Atman, as Satchidananda, you and I are one reality. Who is saying? Hanuman is saying that to Ramchandra. You and I are one reality. But as Atman, not as Hanuman and Ramchandra. As Hanuman and Ramchandra, big difference. What is the big difference? I am servant, devotee. You are the Lord. You are Bhagavan. You are Ishvara avatar. I am a Jiva. I am Hanuman. As Jiva, you are the whole, I am part. You are Ishvara, I am Jiva, I am part of you. As Atma, Satchidananda, you and I are one reality. It's one unbroken existence consciousness, please. Satchidananda. Which one is true? All are true. From which perspective? Body perspective, mind Jiva perspective, or Brahman perspective, Satchidananda. So, wonderful answer. And Sri Ramakrishna approved of this approach. But there are some traditional Advaitins who will give a different interpretation. So once Swami Turiyananda, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he met, there was one of his visitors was Sadhu Shantinath, Nath Sampradaya. He was a very austere, great austere sadhu. He would argue for the non-dualist position. I am Brahman, and forget all this God and all this. Forget it. Then Turiyanandaji told him this one, that see, as Hanuman, he is the Sevak, Das, Ramchandra is the Lord Master. Hanuman says, as Jiva, I am the part, and you, Ramchandra, you are Ishvara, you are Narayana, I am part of you. Ramchandra is avatar of Narayana. Bless you. And as Satchidananda, you and I are one, he's saying. When Turiyanandaji said this to Sadhu Shantinath said, this is not the meaning. That's not the meaning. Turiyanandaji said, what's the meaning? The meaning is, when I have body consciousness, I am the devotee and you are the Lord. When I transcend body consciousness and realize I identify with the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, I am Jiva, you are Ishvara, Bhagavan. But when I realize who I am really, from a Vedantic perspective, I am Satchidananda, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, then you and I are one. So the first two, body consciousness and Jiva consciousness, this body awareness, Jiva identification and Jiva identification, they are false, they are wrong, they are states of ignorance. Satchidananda, I am the Atman, is the state of knowledge. So what Hanuman is saying, you and I are one, that is the reality. I am your servant and I am a part of you, these are all ignorance. Turiyanandaji laughed and said, well, have it your way. That is a little radical way of looking at it. Kattar Advaiti.
Pranam Swamiji, my name is Jayashri. You talked about ignorance being it is not, there's no beginningless. The question I have is, because ignorance is the root cause of vikshep, avaran, dukkha, everything. Why did this ignorance even come about? Because it is the cause.
Okay, now we have moved from when to why. When did ignorance come? The answer was beginningless. So all right, couldn't catch you there. But then tell me why. Why? See these questions, what, where, when, why. What is ignorance? Great discussions. Huge discussions are there in Vedantic texts. Trigunatmakam, made of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Jnana virodhi, which is cancelled or negated by knowledge, the opposite of knowledge. Negated by knowledge, that is ignorance. Sadasadbhyam anirvachanyam, you cannot say it exists, you cannot say it does not exist. Sadasadbhyam anirvachanyam. You cannot say it exists because when it's cancelled by knowledge, the reality will never be cancelled by knowledge. Knowledge only reveals the reality. If it disappears when you know what it is, then it can't be reality. But you can't say it doesn't exist because it gives rise to all our samsara. That's why we are here. What else? Bhava rupa. As if positive. Not really positive. So like this, multiple yatkinchit, paradoxical. You see, instead of saying paradoxical, one might say that, why don't you be honest and admit you don't know what you're talking about? But it is the nature of reality, of our investigation, which reveals that the very paradox at the heart of all of this. If you just consider science, 19th century, if you ask scientists, physicists, mathematicians, they would have said, what will happen to science in the next 100 years? They would have said completion. We will expect that physics will be a completed system. There was a mathematician, Hilbert. He had a whole program for completion of mathematics. So there's these, I think, 10 or 20 problems he said. If these are solved, then mathematics will be complete. So they expected consistent completion, certain knowledge will be there within 50, 100 years. What actually happened in 20th century? Just the reverse. Rebecca Goldstein, in her book on Gödel, she says, look at the greatest scientific insights of the 20th century. Gödel's incompleteness. Gödel comes along and smashes Hilbert's program and says, the nature of mathematics is incomplete. You will either get a consistent system which is incomplete or a complete system which is inconsistent. Incompleteness. Heisenberg's uncertainty. And Einstein's relativity. Look at the names: relativity, uncertainty, incompleteness. 100 years before that, if you had asked scientists, they would have said, we will expect in 100 years completeness, certainty, and absolute knowledge, not relative. This is paradox. This is not a sign of ignorance, it's a sign of sophistication of knowledge. If you push it far enough, you'll end up with paradoxes. Every field gets stuck there. Mathematics, physics, all fundamental science, even biology. I was reading a scientist talking about the nature of life. When I investigate what life is, I go from a living system, a body, to organ systems, living, to tissues, living, to cells, which are living. I go further and further down, deeper and deeper. At one point, I feel life has escaped. And when I come back again, at one point, life appears. I can't exactly grasp what is happening there. There is paradox at the heart of everything. So, what is ignorance? Paradox. Yatkinchit. Where is ignorance? My God, the amount of debate there is. Is ignorance in Brahman? Is ignorance in the Jiva, sentient being? Where? Both? None? The straight answer would be, we are ignorant. So ignorance is in us. But the point is, Brahman appeared as Jiva because of ignorance. So ignorance should be there before the Jiva. But before the Jiva, there is only Brahman. So is there ignorance in Brahman? So what is the way? Debate after debate, long debates, locus of ignorance. If you Google it, locus of ignorance debates in Advaita Vedanta, books after book have been written. It's been like nearly 1100 years this debate is running. Where is ignorance? What is ignorance? Paradox. Where is ignorance? Could be Brahman, could be Jiva. Either, none, don't know. When is ignorance? When did it start? We just found that out. Beginningless. Or we didn't find out, we said it's beginningless. Now you're asking, why is there ignorance? What? Where? When? Why? Why is there ignorance at all? Somerset Maugham, the British novelist who wrote The Razor's Edge, he went to Ramana Maharshi. He knew Vedanta quite well. In one essay he writes that when we realize Brahman created this universe, and one feels, looking at the suffering in this universe, Brahman could have left well enough alone. Needn't have created this universe. So much suffering. Why? Why did Brahman create this universe? And you say, oh, but it's because of Maya, because of this cosmic ignorance. Then why? That's what the question which you asked, right? Why is there ignorance? Here the answer is very interesting. It gets really interesting now. All of these questions and the answers are very interesting. Very sophisticated, deep philosophy has been done here. Epistemology and metaphysics. What is ignorance? Where is ignorance? Why is there ignorance? And when is ignorance and why is there ignorance? We have finally come to why. By the way, did you know there's a whole branch of philosophy called ignorance studies? Yes. And I think they have already published it. I was talking to the editor in Routledge Publications, the Routledge Encyclopedia of Ignorance. The more you read it, more ignorant you'll become. There is actually. And there's a school called New School in Manhattan. So they had a conference about 6 years ago, which I attended. The theme of the conference was the unknown. Unknown. Unknown and unknowable. In mathematics, in physics, in history, in literature, in philosophy. Why aren't you answering the question? Why did ignorance start? Why? Why is there ignorance at all? The answer is this. Vivekananda would say the question itself is wrong. Yeah, question itself is wrong. Now you could ask, why is the question wrong? You could ask. For Vivekananda it seemed to be utterly obvious, so he doesn't bother to explain. Why is the question wrong? For a simple reason. Look at what you're asking. You're asking why ignorance, why Maya? Ignorance, we're talking about Maya here, the cosmic ignorance. Why Maya at all? Question is wrong. Why is the question wrong? Notice, what is Maya? It is time-space causality. Maya is desha-kala nimitta, time-space causality. If you ask, for example, what is outside space? The question is wrong because outside and inside are space words. They apply only when there is space. If you ask what's there before time, you can ask what was before the Big Bang. But if you ask before, you're already accepting time. Because before and after are time words. When you say before and after, what is before? Past. What is after? Future. And these are words of time, which are tensed words. So you are already accepting time. Similarly, when you ask why, what kind of answer will satisfy you? That answer should begin with because. It will begin with because. You want a cause. When you ask why, you want a cause. You're already accepting causation. You're already accepting Maya. You're already accepting ignorance. You can't ask for a cause of causation. Causation starts from causation downwards. You can't ask why. It's like, what is causation? Why? Why? Because it's causation. Now you're asking why? There is no causation. The whole point is to show there is no causal link between Brahman and this universe. People say that Brahman created the universe. No, it didn't. If you ask Brahman, no, I didn't. What universe? Only I exist. So somebody put it this way. I think it was Swami Asheshanandaji. He said, on our side of enlightenment, we have the question, we don't have the answer. On their side of enlightenment, they have the answer, but not the question. Yes. Who else?
Thank you. Yeah. Pranam Swamiji. I have a question.
What's your
name is Indrajit.
Indrajit.
So I have a question at the intersection of Vedanta and physics. So I'm going to make this question with 3 very short comments and then pose a question. That's okay. So our first comment is regarding falsifiability of Advaita Vedanta. So I want to just make the comment that philosophical theories are usually not falsifiable. In order to make them falsifiable, one has to provide additional assumptions or structures. Yes. So these questions usually involve a category error. Second comment is about a connection between Vedanta and physics. It appears to me that the core claim, a core claim of Vedanta is that there is no separation at the level of ontology, only at the level of appearance. So this assumption, non-separability, also enters as an assumption in Bell's theorem, which proves that quantum theory is non-local. And it is also the theorem which is the foundation for modern quantum computing. So the interesting part for me as a physicist is that this non-locality cannot be used to send a signal. But there are futuristic theories where this possibility is entertained. My third comment is that there is a concrete claim that I found in Vivekananda's lecture regarding signaling. So he makes this comment in this lecture, Powers of the Mind, where he states that telepathy is a direct communication between minds, and he explains that this is not a signaling through space-time. He explicitly states that distance makes no difference. So this appears to be now a claim that can be directly scientifically tested. And there are experimental protocols that actually try to test this in physics. So my question is the following, that I understand what is needed from the physics side, but not what is required from this, spirituality or religion side. So what resources do I need to explore this connection concretely without having to first becoming awakened or realize myself? And who can help to supply those resources? Thank you.
So, non-falsifiability, non-locality, and telepathic signaling. Now, non-falsifiability and non-locality, I would entirely agree with you, what you just said. The telepathic signaling bit is more the provenance of Patanjali Yoga, not Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta would not be particularly interested in telepathy and the like, but yoga is, Patanjali Yoga certainly is. There were actually experiments to verify this. I saw this whole lab in a place called Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Kendra, Vyasa, in Vyasa, in Bangalore, just outside Bangalore. There's a whole institute which does scientific studies on the benefits of yoga. That's Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga, not Vedanta as such. And they showed me a lab where this telepathic, these psychic abilities are tested. For example, you have a Faraday cage where no radiation connects, and we saw that mobile signal and all, they drop to zero immediately when you enter that cage. So no known radiation will escape that cage. And then the person is sitting there and doing telepathic signaling. So they said they've got interesting results, but I don't know. About the first two, you're right, non-falsifiability. Now, the point I want to add here is, see, the modern idea about scientific progress is, the scientific theory must be falsifiable, testable, and by testing, if it is not falsified, it can be accepted, at least provisionally, until it is falsified. And those things which cannot be tested, which cannot be falsified, are not scientific hypotheses. So like many metaphysical hypotheses. Is Advaita Vedanta like that? Not quite. Is it falsifiable? No. But it's not falsifiable for a very interesting reason. Why? Advaita Vedanta is pre-falsifiability. If you think at what Advaita is saying, all experiments to prove or falsify something are presented to consciousness. It is consciousness which verifies if something is falsified or not. Consciousness itself cannot be falsified. This is the incredible thing about Advaita Vedanta. It goes deeper than the falsifiability hypothesis, the falsifiability criterion. The falsifiability criterion depends on Advaita being right. That consciousness is fundamental. It is to consciousness that your tests are presented. In fact, very interesting, the definition of truth or reality in Advaita Vedanta is non-falsifiability. The definition of a scientific claim is falsifiability. Not that it is false, it should be falsifiable, and then we will test it, and then we will see, after rigorous testing, we will see it has not been falsified, therefore it's fine, it's a scientific truth, provisionally. Advaita Vedanta by definition is unfalsifiable. Why? For the unique reason that all falsifiability depends on consciousness. This is not a snake, this is a rope. The snake has been falsified. To whom or to what? Consciousness. Consciousness certifies that this is a snake, then you test it, then consciousness certifies, oh, it's not a snake, it's a rope. Falsification of snake. All falsification depends on consciousness. But consciousness itself cannot be falsified. Then what will be the witness of that falsification? By definition, in the Vedantic definition of truth or reality is abadhitatvam satyatvam, trikal abadhitatvam satyatvam. That which cannot be falsified in 3 periods of time is the reality. And if you look at it, only consciousness cannot be falsified. Only existence, bare existence of bare consciousness, if we understand the concept of that, it cannot be falsified. Now, what you might say, it's a fine concept, but how do we know it's true? It's not even a concept. It's the ground of all truth and appearance. It's basically what we are experiencing all the time. If we understand what Vedanta is trying to do, yesterday I mentioned, day for yesterday, an extraordinary clarification of ordinary experience. If you begin to understand what is consciousness already presented as we are experiencing it, we'll see it is non-falsifiable. Also non-local. But from an Advaitic perspective, why non-local? Non-local from a quantum theoretic perspective is one thing, from Bell's theorem. But from another, it got the Nobel Prize, I think 1 or 2 years ago, some physicists got Nobel Prize for work on non-locality. The Advaitic understanding of non-locality would be because space and time are both appearances in consciousness, or space-time is an appearance in consciousness. In that sense, consciousness is non-local. Locality means something located in space, in time. Because consciousness is not located in time and space. Rather, time and space are located in consciousness. Therefore, consciousness cannot be local. It must be non-local in a more fundamental sense than quantum non-locality. Yeah. I met this person. He's the head of quantum computing at Google. And in Venice, walking by the canals in Venice, he was this quantum theorist, quantum engineer actually, quantum computing engineer, trying to explain quantum theory to a monk. And we discussed Maya and quantum theory. And it was a rigorous conference because I had to end it with writing a paper on quantum theory and Maya. I had just the rudiments of the ideas. But he knew what he was talking about, and he had studied Vedanta for some time, so he was able to guide me. The problem is only one part of it, quantum theory and Advaita Vedanta. There are 2 sides to it. One side, Advaita Vedanta, I know a little bit. Quantum theory, I really don't. So my answer is to be taken with a pinch of salt. That's it. There's no use looking at me. You have to catch the attention of that person. They're looking at me pleadingly.
Hello, Swami. My name is Paula. I have a simple question. Can you offer any advice to help me remember the truth of shared being when I am in a conversation centered around intense conflict with somebody? How can I remember the truth of shared being at that moment?
Yeah. When you remember it at other moments. You see, one good place to practice is trouble. You realize, I am that. You investigate all of this and you begin to understand what's being said. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. Therefore, this Paula personality is a mask which I wear. But I am independent of it. I am not this person Paula. But the person Paula exists. The person Paula is nothing other than me. It can't exist without me. It is just like the clothes that the actor put on, being the emperor. But the actor is not the emperor. The fortunes and troubles of the emperor or the homeless guy are not the fortunes and troubles of the actor. The actor is playing a role. What saves the actor is this gap, knowing this, I am not this character. For the duration of the play, I have to do it. Otherwise, it won't be a good play. If I proclaim my independence of the character all the time. So, being independent of Paula while playing Paula's role. And this becomes very useful when there is trouble, conflict, triggering. See if it can help you to see that I am not Paula. Now let Paula play the best role that she can. Be calm, be considerate, be firm, whatever is necessary. Speak truth to a difficult person, be compassionate, all of that. But that is possible only when you keep a little distance between yourself and Paula. Then you remain calm in the eye of the storm. Because Paula will get upset.
Pranam Swami. My name is Murali Krishna. I read from the statement of Anjille Lemudi Amma in South India, she said if Prajnanam is Brahma, Ajnanam is also Brahma. And she also says that Creator has become the creation. Then if I want to inquire about it, then Krishna comes into play where he says Ishvara Sarvabhutanam. So where he's saying everybody is an instrument and they don't have a conscious choice. Okay. Then you go back to science now with Robert Sapolsky's book where he says
determined.
Yes, indeterminate. There's no conscious choice. So who exactly is inquiring if they don't have a choice? How can an instrument make a choice when the hand that's holding the instrument is the only one that can determine it? Thank you.
The thing is, you are not an instrument. You are the absolute reality itself. Vivekananda says free will is a misnomer. Robert Sapolsky would agree. But then further Vivekananda says there is freedom, not free will. He says there is freedom. What is freedom? The very nature of Atman or Brahman. You are Atman, you are Brahman, you are not an instrument. This personality is an instrument, like Paula's personality, is an instrument to you. You are the vehicle which you ride. The Kathopanishad analogy of the vehicle. The body is the vehicle, is a chariot. The senses are the horses. The reins with which you control the senses is, the wheel. It's the mind. The intellect is the driver. You are not even the driver of this chariot. Then what are you? You are the passenger. You are the witness consciousness, right? And this whole body-mind is putting on a display. But in identification with this body and mind, you have the appearance of free will. As long as we are not enlightened, we have the appearance of free will and we need to use it in order to break out of this dream-like, half-awake, half-asleep experience. So yes, you have a provisional free will. It feels like we have free will. Upon inquiry, it seems there's no free will. Upon Robert Sapolsky's neuroscientific inquiry, upon Vedantic inquiry, upon devotional inquiry, it's all God's will. Each one of them will say that we actually don't have free will. But it still feels like we have free will. As long as it feels like we have free will, we have to use it to do the right thing, to practice spirituality. Prajnanam is that which is Prajnanam is also Ajnanam in a special sense. As I said in the talk earlier, Sri Ramakrishna says after enlightenment, you look back and see what you had left behind. The ego, the mind, the body, the world, all of them, and that phone also. All of them are this one Brahman only. This one Brahman alone, as Sri Ramakrishna says, you go up to the roof of a house, leave behind the ground floor, the first floor, the staircase, go to the roof, then you find what the roof is made of, the concrete, the cement, the bricks and the brick dust and all. When you look back, the staircase and the first floor and the ground floor, they're all made of the same thing. So after enlightenment, you look back, all of it. Yes, she's right. She said this, that even Ajnana, what you call Ajnana, is actually, in reality, it's Brahman only. Brahman only is appearing in that sense. The creator has become the created. Yes, but you have to be careful. From her perspective, when she says the creator has become the created, the creator alone exists. The creation is the creator appearing as the created. If you say literally the creator has become the created, you're in a whole world of trouble. Then God has become a table. God has become sin. God has become crime. God has become murder. Very difficult kind of God that is. And what use is such a God then? What use? If God remains free, transcending the world of appearance, then that God is useful for us. It's like saying, yes, I am Atman, Brahman, whatever you're saying, but right now I have become the body. What about Atman and Brahman? No longer there, I'm body. Then you're finished. One person asks a sadhu, and this is in North India, a typical discourse of a monk, non-dual talk. And then the person asks, I am quite old and sick and I can't understand all of this. What do I do now? And the sadhu, a little harsh, he said, when there was time, you didn't try. And now there is no more time. Now your body is weak, mind is weak, senses are weak. In Hindi he said, "Ab kya karoge? Bhukto? Suffer? Or what else can you do? Suffer." We'll see next life. You must get a grounding now, so that when the challenges come, when the storms come, we will be well grounded. We can be in a position from which we can deal with it. Yes.
My name is I am asked to briefly, precisely tell my name and the person. My name is Niranjan. I'm from Calcutta. So my question is very simple for you, but the answer will be very difficult for me maybe. There are two small questions. One is about the ignorance. Ignorance is a blessing, the people say. And the people, those who are ignored, they are very much happier than the people those are intelligent. So what do you recommend? Should I be ignorant or intelligent? This is one. Second question is,
one question after another. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah? They say ignorance is bliss. It's a common saying. And it's true. In deep sleep, we are utterly ignorant of the world. And it's blissful. The problem is, deep sleep comes to an end. Children are innocent. They're ignorant of the world. They're innocent. Is that good or bad? It's good because they're children. But that innocence is very delicate. It's destroyed by the time the children grow up. So that innocence is not something to be aspired for. That ignorance is not something to be aspired for. Knowledge is always better than ignorance. Better that a philosopher unhappy than a pig satisfied. What's the second question? You're ignorant, forgotten. All right, one or two more questions and then we wrap up. Yes, tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Alicia, and sorry if this is a stupid question, but how do plants and animals factor into this, and how would a tree move towards enlightenment?
Yes, it's a good question actually. From the Hindu perspective, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh perspectives, the Indian perspectives basically, they regard all sentient beings as jivas, as sentient beings, and we are all beings. What a difference between us are the differences in the bodies. It's the same set of programs, apps running on different hardware. So it's the same subtle body, it's a sentient being, but now in the body of a tree. So a lot of the apps are not working. You might say, if we are all sentient beings going from body to body, we should have the same knowledge, same... No, it doesn't. Even in computers, you will see, you take your operating system and move it from a high-end hardware to a low-end hardware, you will find many of the apps are not working there. Similarly, a subtle body which is born in the body of a tree will have only certain functions available to it for a while, and as long as the tree is there. But we are all sentient beings, subtle bodies, sentient beings, what is called jivatma, sentient beings, moving towards freedom and enlightenment. And we could have tree births, we could have animal births, plant births, births as human beings, births as as gods in heavens or demons in hells. There are multiple. And today we might say aliens in other planets. But we are all moving towards enlightenment and freedom. Yeah. So they are all part of the cosmic drama. They are not objects to be mistreated or ignored. They are sentient beings like us. All of them. Yeah. Last one? Last question.
Namaste, Swami. Not a question. I just wanted to share an insight I received from listening to your talks. If I may share that with you.
What's your name?
My name is Shyam.
Shyam.
So on the topic of false identification with our bodies, I would partly blame the English language for it, with pronouns like anybody, nobody, somebody, everybody. So I applied your mirage example and viewed these words through the lens of different people, from the novice to the enlightened. So a novice, an ignorant man of the world would say, I'm somebody, like full of ego. Somewhat intelligent person, like a student of Vedanta, would say that I am nobody. And a fully realized person would say, I'm everybody. And your example, the guy with the polarized lens or with dark glasses would say, I don't see anybody. So I just wanted to add some levity.
Nicely put. I think we can end with that. Thank you very much. Should we take this to the living room? Yes.
Thanks to all of you and the Swami, and clarifying so many questions of ours. Infinite number of questions are there, but he's always pointing out to go to one. So all these problems are in the duality, so it will vanish. But anyway, those who want to get a signature from Swami in his book signing, go to the living room, greenhouse living room, and afterwards all are invited for lunch. We'll be expecting, but by 1:30, but little late it may be because your signature will take some time. So after that we'll all go to eat.